welcome to the deep dive.
Good to be here.
So today we're tackling one of those internet legends, something that just refuses to die down.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one. A real pop culture phenomenon, you could say. We're talking about Avril Lavigne.
That's right, the whole journey, how she became this global sensation seemingly overnight.
Her huge rise, yeah. But then it gets kind of weird.
That's putting it mildly. We're diving into that massive conspiracy theory, the whole Avril is dead thing.
And that she was replaced,
Yeah.
by a lookalike named Melissa. It's quite the story.
So we're going to unpack it. Start from the beginning, her origins.
How she got famous, yeah. And then really get into the nuts and bolts of this theory, the proof, the reaction.
Lay it all out there so you, listening, can kind of see what's what and make up your own mind. Okay, let's rewind. Before all the conspiracies, there was just Avril Ramona Lavigne, born in Ontario in 1984.
Right. And apparently her parents knew she had something special really early on, like age 2.
2?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Singing Jesus Loves Me on the way home from church. Her dad even turned their basement into a studio.
Wow.
Full setup. Microphone, drums, keyboard, guitars. Serious support from the start.
That's incredible parental backing. But she wasn't like a typical pop star in the making, image-wise, right?
Not at all. Growing up in Napanee, this small farming town, she was a total tomboy. Idolized her older brother.
Did everything he did.
Pretty much. Played hockey in a boys' league. Was apparently really good, too. MVP twice as a right-winger.
No way.
Yeah. Loved dirt biking, camping. That raw kind of anti-girly girl image was definitely part of her identity early on.
So not exactly singing into an airbrush in front of the mirror then.
Well, she did practice constantly. Sang in the church choir from age 10. Then did county fairs, hockey games, company parties.
Paying her dues.
Totally. Mostly covering country singers back then, like Martina McBride, Faith Hill. She apparently spent hours practicing in front of a mirror, honing her performance.
So how does that small town talent get noticed? What was the break?
It's a bit of a classic story. She's 14, singing country covers in a bookstore in Kingston.
Okay.
Her first manager, Cliff Fabry, spots her, described her as a frizzy-haired waif, but with this competent attitude.
Love that description.
And that same year, she sang a duet with Shania Twain in front of 20,000 people.
At 14, that takes guts.
And she told Shania she wanted to be a famous singer. She wasn't shy about her ambition.
Clearly not. And that ambition, it paid off fast, didn't it?
Incredibly fast. November 2000, she's just 16. Fabry gets her an audition with L.A. Reid at Arista Records.
The L.A. Reid, big deal.
Huge. And get this, a 15-minute audition was all it took.
15 minutes.
Yep. He signed her on the spot. A $1.25 million deal for 2 albums plus, $900,000 publishing advance.
That's insane for a 16-year-old.
Totally. She dropped out of high school and moved to L.A. Reid asked her what style she wanted, and she just said, I'm 16, I want to rock out.
Classic.
And that same day, working with producers, they wrote Complicated.
Wow. Just like that.
And that song, it changed everything. Her debut album, Let Go, comes out June 2002.
And it just exploded, right?
Instantly. Sold over 1 million copies in, 6 weeks? By the end of 2002, it was the second biggest selling album in the U.S. Only Eminem sold more that year.
Just behind the Eminem show. That's a huge company.
And number 1 in Australia, Canada, the UK. She was the youngest female soloist ever to hit number 1 on the UK album charts at that time, 17 years old.
So Complicated was the first big single.
Massive. Then Sk8r Boy, I'm With You. They just kept coming.
Solidified that whole pop-punk princess image.
Exactly. She was the second artist ever to get 3 top 10 hits from a debut album on the Billboard Mainstream Top 40.
People really connected with that persona, didn't they? The anti-Britney.
Oh, absolutely. Her image was just as key as the music. The label tried to make her more pop, apparently.
And she wasn't having it.
Nope. She famously said something like, if I was made up by the label, I'd have bleached blonde hair and be wearing a bra for a shirt. Instead, she went for the whole skater punk look. Cut-off plaid pants, those heavy Doc Martens boots, tank tops, neckties.
A tie. That was iconic.
Totally. It screamed alternative, authentic, unpolished. That's what people grabbed onto.
Which, ironically, leads us right into the conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
Because right at this peak, 2003, massive fame, the theory says something drastic happened.
Yeah, this is where the story takes that sharp left turn. The core idea of the Avril is dead theory. It claims that her grandfather died in 2003.
Okay, that part's probably true.
Right. But the theory goes, she fell into this deep depression because of it and couldn't handle the pressure of fame.
And so,
tragically, she took her own life. That's the claim.
Wow.
And the record label, sitting on this, multi-million-dollar star.
Their golden goose.
Exactly. They couldn't just let that go. So the theory alleges they covered it up and secretly replaced her.
Replaced her?
With who?
With a lookalike actress, supposedly named Melissa Vandella, who just stepped into Avril's life and career. Okay, that sounds completely wild. Where did this even come from?
It started on a Brazilian fan blog around 2005, maybe 2011. The dates are a bit fuzzy.
A fan blog.
Yeah. And the craziest part, the person who started it later admitted it was all a hoax.
A hoax? They made it up.
Completely, as an experiment, supposedly, to show how easily rumors could spread online, how gullible people could be.
Well, it seems like the experiment worked because it definitely spread.
Oh, it took on a life of its own. It died down a bit and had this huge resurgence around 2017. A single Twitter thread got, over 128,000 retweets.
That's insane reach. So even though it started as a joke, people found evidence, right? What did they point to?
This is where you really see confirmation bias in action. People started scrutinizing everything. The main things cited are changes in her appearance and style.
After 2003.
Yeah, especially around her second album, Under My Skin, in 2004. That Sk8r punk look.
The ties and plaid pants.
Gone. Or at least less prominent. More dresses, more skirts. Her hair changed too, became more wavy. Less of that signature dead straight, middle-parted look.
But hang on, people change their style all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially between 18 and 20.
Exactly, that's the rational explanation. But theorists saw it as proof of a replacement.
Okay, style changes are one thing. What about actual physical features? Did they claim those changed too?
Oh yeah, this is where it gets really minute. People started comparing photos, claiming her facial features shifted.
Like what specifically?
Things like the space between her eyebrows got bigger, her nose looked narrower, the distance between her chin and lip got smaller, even her brow line looked different to them.
They're really analyzing pixel by pixel here.
Totally. Changes in eye shape, even beauty marks supposedly disappearing from her face and arms. Things that could easily be explained by lighting, makeup, angles, or just natural changes over time.
I even heard something bizarre about her height.
Ah yes, the height thing. Supposedly, early on, she was listed as 5'2". And now, Google says 5'1". So theorists jump on that inch. They say, people don't shrink that young. It must be Melissa.
An inch? That could be a measurement error, different shoes, anything.
Of course. But for believers, it's another piece of the puzzle if it's the narrative they want to see.
What about her voice? Surely that's hard to fake consistently.
That's another big one for the theorists. They claim her early voice, around 2003, was raspier, deeper.
Okay, I remember that kind of sound.
And then later it became higher pitched, more feminine, almost soprano.
Again, singers' voices change, right? Training, age, style choices.
Absolutely. They also point to the music itself. The lyrical themes shifted, they argue, from angsty punk rock to more
happy and poppy, like Girlfriend.
Exactly. They see that shift as evidence that it wasn't the real Avril anymore. The angst was gone, replaced by pop.
Were there supposedly, hidden clues, Easter eggs in her work?
Yeah, they look for those too. Lyrics from songs like Slipped Away.
The day you slipped away was the
Yeah.
day I found it won't be the same.
Right. Theorists interpret that as being about the original Avril dying and Melissa taking over.
Even though it could literally be about losing anyone or anything.
Of course. Or my happy ending. They tried to find clues in that too. It's about reading intent into ambiguity.
But the photo,
Yeah.
the one with Melissa written on her hand, that seems pretty direct, doesn't it?
Ah, the Sharpie photo. Yeah, there's a picture of her posing, and clear as day, Melissa is written on her hand.
So conspiracy theorists say that's her, confessing, leaving a clue.
That's the interpretation. That she was subtly signaling the truth, ignoring, a million other possibilities, like it being a friend's name, an inside joke, anything.
It's grabbing onto the most dramatic explanation.
Always. And then there was that text message thing. That one felt kind of creepy.
The one supposedly from her mom's neighbor?
Yeah, a screenshot shared online, claimed to be from someone living near Avril's mom back in Canada.
What did it say?
That the mom got emotional and asked about Avril, said she missed her. They didn't talk much, implying estrangement because it wasn't her real daughter anymore.
Okay, that is creepy.
Yeah.
But also completely unverifiable, right?
Zero credible source. As you said, creepy, but likely just fabricated to add emotional weight to the whole theory. Easy to fake a text message.
So you look at all this evidence, the style changes,
Yeah.
the supposed facial shifts, the height, the voice, the lyrics, the photo, the text.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of reaching, frankly.
It does, and the debunking is pretty strong. The biggest point against it.
No, Melissa.
Exactly. There is absolutely no verifiable record anywhere of an actress or performer named Melissa Vandella existing outside of this conspiracy theory.
If she was hired for this huge ongoing deception, you'd think there'd be some trace, an old acting credit, something.
You'd expect so. But nope, nothing. It's a ghost, allegedly replacing a superstar.
And just the simple fact that people change.
Fundamentally, yes. Critics hammer this point home. People evolve. Their looks change, their style changes, their voice can change, their musical tastes change, especially when you go from 17 to your late 20s or 30s in the public eye.
Think about other stars, like Taylor Swift.
Perfect example.
Oh?
Look at her transformation from country artist to pop megastar. Huge shifts in style, look, sound. Nobody's saying she was replaced.
Or Britney Spears, her voice changed quite a bit over the years. Ariana Grande, too.
Right. It happens. It's normal artistic and personal evolution. It's not proof of a body double.
So what does Avril herself say? Has she ever, directly addressed this whole bizarre thing?
She has, yeah. A few times. Mostly she seems baffled and a bit amused by it all.
Are you guys serious?
Pretty much. In one interview back in 2018, she said, yeah, some people think that I'm not the real me, which is so weird. Why would they even think that?
She sounded genuinely confused.
Purportedly flabbergasted. Later called it a dumb internet rumor and insisted she looks exactly the same. Which, maybe not exactly, but her point is clear.
So the person who started it admitted it was a hoax. There's no proof of Melissa. Avril denies it. It seems pretty clear-cut.
It really does. The origin as a hoax intended to show how rumors spread is maybe the most telling part. It succeeded beyond the creator's wildest dreams, probably.
Which brings up the bigger question. Why? Why do people get so hooked on these celebrity conspiracy theories? It's not just Avril. Paul McCartney, Elvis.
It's a really interesting psychological question. Part of it is definitely the allure of secret knowledge, believing you know something the mainstream doesn't.
Feeling like you're in the know.
Exactly. There's a certain appeal to uncovering a hidden truth, especially one supposedly hidden by powerful entities like record labels.
And the changes celebrities go through fuel it.
For sure. Young stars change rapidly, physically and artistically. When you map those normal changes onto a narrative of deception, suddenly every little difference looks suspicious if you want it to.
That confirmation bias again. Looking for proof that fits your theory.
Precisely. And the internet acts like a giant amplifier. Ideas spread instantly, find sympathetic audiences, and get reinforced in echo chambers. Avril being relatively private sometimes, taking breaks. That just created more space for speculation to fill.
It's like a collective mystery game, almost.
In a way, yeah. For some, it might be more about the intrigue and the community around the theory than actually believing it 100%. It's similar to the Paul is dead thing with the Beatles finding clues in album art, playing songs backwards.
It's a pattern, finding meaning where maybe there isn't any hidden meaning.
It taps into our human need for stories, for narrative, maybe even for a sense of order or explanation when things seem chaotic or just normal, like someone changing their hairstyle. These theories are often more revealing about us, the audience, than about the celebrities themselves.
So, wrapping this up, this whole Avril-Melissa deep dive.
Yeah.
It's less about uncovering a dark secret and more about understanding internet culture, right?
Absolutely. It's a fascinating case study in how a joke, a hoax, can spiral into this widely shared belief system online, fueled by cherry-picking normal changes and finding patterns that aren't really there.
It really shows how easily we can be convinced of something if it tells a good story, even if the reality is much simpler.
And it's a good reminder, maybe, to apply Occam's razor sometimes. Is it more likely she was replaced by a secret clone? Or that she just, grew up and changed her hair.
So maybe the next time you see a celebrity looking different or sounding different, just pause for a second. Think about how much you've changed since you were, say, 17 or 20.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? In a way, how many different versions of ourselves have we been over the years? Are we all replacements for our younger selves?
That's definitely something to chew on.
An intriguing thought. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep digging deeper.